So a new bill has been introduced into the state of California, but this one is pro-gun and it seeks to relax the CCW requirements in the state. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think the state of California needs to stop infringing on our rights to keep and bear arms, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. So like I said in the intro, a pro-Second Amendment bill has been introduced into the state of California. That's right, a Pro-2A bill which seeks to relax the CCW requirements, making a CCW permit valid for 5 years instead of the current 2-year permit requirement has been introduced. The bill we're going to be talking about in this video is AB 2033, which was introduced by Assemblymember Smith and is now co-authored by Assemblymember Sayarto. The bill AB 2033 states, existing law authorizes the sheriff of a county or a chief or other head of a police department of a city or a city and county to issue a license to carry a concealed firearm upon proof that the person applying for the license is of good moral character, that good cause exists for the issuance, and that the applicant satisfies specified residency requirements, and that the applicant has completed a course of specified training. Under existing law, a license issued for carrying a concealed firearm is generally valid for any period of time not to exceed 2 years. This bill would make a license issued to carry a concealed firearm valid for any period of time not to exceed 5 years. So that's really the important language of this bill. And in all reality, it's a pretty straightforward bill that doesn't seek to completely upend gun control in the state of California or to get completely rid of the whole May issue scheme in the state of California. Instead, it simply is attempting to expand how long a CCW permit is valid for. And actually, in all reality, it doesn't even mandate that the bill or the requirements on this bill have to be that these issuing agencies have to actually grant a permit for 5 years. Instead, it's just indicating that it's going to be within the discretion of the issuing agency. So an issuing agency could say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years. This bill just simply wants to open the door for a longer period of time. Now, if you aren't aware of what California CCW requirements currently are, let me explain real quick. California Penal Code Section 26150 states that when a person applies for a license to carry a pistol, revolver, or other firearm capable of being concealed upon the person, the sheriff of a county may issue a license to that person upon proof of all of the following. 1. The applicant is of good moral character. 2. Good cause exists for issuance of the license. 3. The applicant is a resident of the county or city within the county, or the applicant's principal place of employment or business. And 4. The applicant has completed a course of training as described in Section 26165. When it comes to that training course requirement you heard mentioned on that last point, essentially what is required for there is 8-hour courses for a new applicant and a 4-hour renewal course if you already have a pre-existing permit and you're just simply renewing it. Now, along with this training, there's also a live fire requirement where you actually have to meet a specific standard of accuracy, but those standards are not set by the state. Traditionally, they are set by the county or city. So those are kind of the baseline standards for the CCW application, but that really is just the face value of the whole process. In reality, many people struggle with even meeting a good cause statement or having a good cause statement that their agency will even accept. Because again, this is a May issue state in California, and discretion is completely given to the agency. So you can meet all the standards, submit your application, do all the training requirements, pay your fees, all of that, submit your application to the agency and still be denied because the agency says, well, you don't have a good cause. Now I'm lucky to be in the Central Valley where most counties would issue simply for a good cause of self-defense, but there are other counties in California where it's next to impossible essentially to get a CCW because they just won't issue them. They'll say you don't meet the good cause standard unless essentially you pay off that agency. Also keep in mind that the CCW process in California is not cheap whatsoever. When all was said and done, my initial application for a CCW was pretty much north of $500, and I think my renewals cost me anywhere between $300 to $400 every 2 years when I renew. And so a big part of this bill is also to lessen that burden on law-abiding gun owners in the state of California. Really, every year in about 6 months, I have to go through this process all over again and pay a ton of fees. Why is it a year and 6 months? Well, because I have to renew 90 days before the end of my 2 years. And if I don't do that, if I don't meet that 90 days before the 2-year period ends, essentially my card will expire. And then I have to do a new application and go through the even longer process all over again. So that's some background on this bill, and it's kind of the situation that a lot of CCW holders in the state of California are currently living under. Now, this bill actually was heard in a committee, and that committee hearing essentially did not pass the initial reading of this bill, but it was granted reconsideration, so it's not completely dead yet. At the committee hearing, it was pretty much interesting to hear that multiple citizens called in to support the passing of this bill. They wanted the expansion of this time, and in opposition, there was really only one person who was there and who even called in to oppose the passage of this bill, and it was a single lady who was representing the Brady group. This representative of the Brady campaign essentially argued that it was imperative that California doesn't weaken our concealed carry laws, especially in the face of many states moving to essentially permitless carry to constitutional carry. In the alternative, she actually argued that the CCW fees should be increased instead of lessened or the time period being increased. She just said, well, you should just charge the CCW holders even more. Again, outside of her comments, there was no real public support for opposing this bill, other than the members on the committee who argued that increasing the permit period from 2 years to 5 years would hurt public safety because a lot of things can change in someone's life over 5 years. What these comments point to is a complete lack of understanding of the laws in the state of California and how the process here actually works. It is not like the only time you have a criminal background check ever run on you or updated on you is when you actually renew that CCW permit. In California, as we all know, we have various forms of background checks. We have background checks run anytime we purchase ammunition and anytime we purchase firearms, and now anytime we even purchase like 80% lowers. On top of that, if a person ever does commit a crime and they become a prohibited person, that information is automatically sent over to the DOJ and is put in the armed and prohibited person systems. That data is then maintained by the DOJ, and anytime a CCW holder hits that system, the DOJ is mandated to notify the issuing agency that that individual who has a CCW is now a prohibited person and the CCW should be pulled. And where can you find that language? It's pretty much obvious. It's right there in California Penal Code section 26195B2. So again, these committee members are making statements and they really don't even understand what the law is. So the concerns that these committee members have is completely invalid. They then went on to say, well, if the system isn't broken, then you don't fix it. Again, the fact is that this system in California is completely broken. Not only does it violate constitutional rights, but it also penalizes law-abiding gun owners who are doing the right thing, and as a result of them being law-abiding gun owners, going through the process, doing the right thing, getting their CCW permits, they are constantly charged and they have to go through a process that is infringing on our rights. Like I said, by a 5-2 vote, the committee voted against this bill, but it was granted reconsideration. So I highly recommend all California gun owners, all CCW holders, reach out to our representatives and tell them that they need to support this bill and get it passed. I would also love to potentially even attend the parts of this discussion. If there's another committee or another vote or whatever, I would love to attend. I think if one of these Pro-2A reps who is introducing this bill or is supporting this bill can have me come out and really shut down a lot of these falsehoods that are being claimed in these committee discussions, I think that would be really helpful because, again, a lot of these talking points that they're touting out to oppose this bill, to oppose this expansion of simply just time, are just completely false and are not correct at all under California law and the laws that they put in place. But regardless, let's get behind this bill and try to get something actually passed that will help California gun owners. So as we get more information, I will definitely let you guys know. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Algorit's rhythm. It helps to fuel his jet and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. Again, I want to thank everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could have ever thought. So thank you so much for all of your support. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.